This building was felt like a habitat for cultists. So as they repaired it and the security, this has gotten more better.
From cultist den to a beacon of learning, the new era college transformation. There's a popular saying that if you want to know what a society values, look at how it treats the schools, not the speeches, not the promises, the schools. Because classrooms are where tomorrow is built. And for many years, some public schools across Nigeria became a symbol of painful reality, neglect, decay, and lost opportunities. At one point, parts of New Era College reflected that same reality. Some of the facilities are deteriorated, certain sections were abandoned, classrooms that should have been filled with students and teachers became vulnerable to misuse. Places meant for learning gradually became places people are associated with loitering, drug use, and other activities that had nothing to do with education. For parents, it was heartbreaking. For students, it was discouraging. And for the community, it was a reminder of what happens when educational infrastructure is neglected for far too long. But today, a different story is emerging. Visitors to New Era College are greeted by a transformed environment. New and improved classroom blocks, a secured perimeter fencing, a cleaner and more organized learning space, an atmosphere that once reflected abandonment now reflects purpose. The transformation is not just about buildings, it's about changing what those buildings represent. Because a classroom is more than concrete and roofing sheets. A classroom is confidence. A classroom is opportunity. A classroom is the difference between a child dreaming and a child believing that dream is possible. The renovation of New Era College fits into a broader educational push under the administration of Governor Monday Okpebholo. Across Edo State, schools are receiving attention, classrooms are being renovated, teachers are being recruited, educational institutions are receiving greater support, and the infrastructure that had been ignored for years is gradually being brought back to life. The goal is simple: to make public schools places where parents can proudly send their children, places where students can learn in dignity, places where communities can once again see education as a pathway to a better future. Critics often ask what governance looks like. Sometimes governance looks like a road, sometimes it looks like a hospital, and sometimes governance looks like a school that no longer resembles an abandoned building, a school that no longer attracts the wrong activities, a school that now attracts students, teachers, and hope. That is the significance of New Era College. It is not just a facelift. It is a statement. A statement that education matters. A statement that children deserve better. And a statement that abandoned spaces can be reclaimed and transformed when leadership is intentional. From what many once described as a cultist den to what is now becoming a beacon of learning, New Era College is telling a story that every Edo citizen can understand. The story of renewal, the story of restoration, and perhaps most importantly, the story of what becomes possible when government chooses to invest in the future rather than simply talk about it. Because at the end, every renovated classroom is more than one project. It is a promise that the next generation deserves a better place to learn, grow, and succeed. And for many students walking through the gates of New Era College today, that project becomes a reality. This is Truth Unveiled, and my name is Osigwemo Ikiroda, and I am the principal and CEO of Push Radio Academy.